Monday memos. Manny's Monday memos. Manny's Monday memos. Manny, Monday memo. Ho, Manny, Monday memo. Ho, 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 ho. All right, welcome back, everybody. I have Marlon with me today, and he said he wanted to talk about celebrities, influencers, and education. So, Marlon, what made you want to talk about those three things? Because, that's different from what my other guests have talked about.
Yeah, no, just to make a talking point, I think lately the media has been a very talked about uh, aspect of society, and how in the news it's fake news or what's real news, and even in our communities how the media is like focused towards us to act a certain way, or to buy a certain product or do a certain thing, and it's just been on my mind lately is how we use the media and how the media is portrayed to us in terms of how we go about our everyday lives.
So when you say media, because everybody has different definitions, are we talking about like actual news media outlets, or are we talking about like even the blogs and the, tabloids and, things of that nature?
Yeah, so when I say media, obviously like the major media outlets, but even down to the point of like people's individual Instagram pages, Twitter pages, blogs, even something like this being a podcast. Just any form of media, so where there's an audience that's listening to it.
Gotcha. Okay, so what do you feel like? Because we went to college together, for those of you who don't know, Marlon also went to Mercer. So what do you feel like is your viewpoint on, these influencers and like education? Because, those of us that went to school to get a degree, it's like...
All right. So first things first, if you are an influencer, continue to get your bag. Like, I'm not going to hate if you getting money to promote whatever product that promoting. Continue to get your bag. I'm not worried about your wallet. Do what you got to do. The problem that I have is when you have influencers starting to use their power because of the amount of followers that they have to speak on subjects that they ain't got no business talking about. So for the first example that I have is when the George Floyd thing first popped off, and you had everybody and their mama talking on social media about like the situation, about social justice and things like that. When you have individuals who have power because they're influencers, they could spread the wrong message. They might be spreading their message, but because their voice is so amplified in our communities, it doesn't necessarily reflect what we feel the message should be tailored to. And that's where I have an issue is get your bag, embrace your followers, but also stay in your lane and know what you should and should not be talking about.
So really, Marlon's trying to tell you guys to shut the F up. Shut up if you don't know what you're talking about. Like, he doesn't want to hear it. I think, I was having this discussion with like a few people, and some people had the same sentiment, while others were like, no, it shouldn't be like that. So when it comes to like influencers and celebrities, I don't really feel like we should be looking to those people to have the answers when it comes to big issues. And the reason I say that is, okay, yeah, they're a celebrity. Okay, yeah, they're an influencer. But are they the ones that are going to be able to make the changes that we need to be done? Like, are those the people that are going to be able to write in those laws? Are those the people that can really go out there and truly make a difference? Or are we just really over here idolizing these people because they have millions of dollars behind their name?
Yeah, so the first thing I want to say is there is a famous Malcolm X quote that I will not be able to recite word for word that basically says that, hey, we don't need to put these people of celebrity status and have them related to, someone who is in power, because it's two different things at that point. And I think that in this society, because of what the media is transformed into, it almost seems it's almost that our community leaders or our leaders of our people are synonymous with those in celebrity status. And I think that's where we have the problem, because I completely agree with that sentiment. We should not be having celebrities I don't want to name off anybody right now, but we should not be having celebrities who ain't got no business talking about these sort of issues.
Like Trump. Trump.
Well, that's number one right there. That's a given. Talking about these sort of issues where ain't no change gonna happen, and if anything, it's more of a ploy or a stunt to boost their own status instead of helping the overall goal. But yeah, so I completely agree with that. We should have a higher knowledge for those who actually are in power to make those changes. And I think that we're starting to see, at least in our community of if anything, some celebrities move to that direction. So we have, I just want to few people. We got Maya, WNBA star. She actually sat out this season. Because she's trying to work with wrongfully convicted inmates and our already messed up political justice system, and I think that's beautiful. You have a perfect example of a leader, of a celebrity, somebody who's already a hooper who already got her money, already got her bag, stepping out of her zone and actually making a difference by doing these sort of things. And she's not the only person, we've had a history of celebrities to actually make that change into activists or make that change into somebody who gets things done instead of just talks on them. So, yeah.
Ooh, you just made me think about something.
All right, go ahead.
So, I'm a J. Cole fan, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I love J. Cole through and through.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
my guy. Now, when J. Cole, had his song,
yep,
pissed a lot of people off, specifically a lot of black women. There are a lot of black men that got pissed off too. He definitely has been given the label misogynistic now. I will say I've heard many people say, he's misogynistic, Manny. How could you like him?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, all right, cool. I see. What are your thoughts on that? And I'm going to tell you what my thoughts are because I feel like I have a lot of views on that.
Yeah, so my understanding, he got butthurt because of some sort of comment by No Name, another rapper that I think he's close with or whatever. So he dropped a song about it. And it's kind of interesting because the song don't really help much. It kind of sounded like he was complaining for a bit. And it's weird because that's his outlet. He does music. That's how he gets his message across. And he's had supporters, he's had a good career doing what he's doing, and he's known to be an individual that will go out into the community and actually be, a part of the community. So that's what makes it difficult, because he is just hey, I'm gonna rap about this and that's it. He's actually an active member in his communities. I don't think he should have dropped no song talking about what he was talking about. He could have just made a statement and kept it pushing. But he had to add some trap drums to it and put some bars behind it, I guess, to get his point across. I don't know. I feel like if anything, it didn't add much to the movement. And if it doesn't add much, I feel it's a distraction of some sort. So I don't agree with, how he approached that situation. I am a J. Cole fan, from the mixtapes, all of that. But I feel like he could have handled that better. But hey, I mean, sometimes, listen, we're all human at the end of the day. Sometimes we make mistakes. He just didn't have the people in his circle, I guess, to tell him, hey, bro, you should, think about doing this another way instead of, dropping a song and getting some plays off of it. So, but what do you think?
So for me, I have two different viewpoints on it. Okay, so number one, I didn't see it as, when I first listened to it, when I even read the lyrics multiple times. To me, it sounded like, it sounded honest. I'm gonna be real with you. It sounded like just another black man that needs help from a black woman to understand something that honestly you should already know. So I'm a J. Cole fan, but I wasn't mad at him for what he did. There were some people bashing him, and I was just like, y'all OD with this today. I even, got into Twitter discussions because I was like, all right, now you're doing a little too much. You're just trying to write the man off. No, I don't think it's necessarily I will tell you, as a Black woman, it is frustrating because it feels like sometimes we really have to teach you Black men things that you kind of already should know. Or when we say things that maybe like you didn't understand, maybe we hit a little bit of that pride, a little bit of that ego, and it's like, well, you know, I didn't know. It's like, okay, cool, you didn't know, but you know, pump your brakes. You need to pay attention. You need to remember who you're dealing with. So, you know, in that standpoint, I do understand Black women that are upset, like, this is, you know, enough, like, we're tired. But I don't think it's extreme enough to where we're like, we're going to write him off. He's fake as hell. He's misogynistic.
Yeah.
To be real with you, all of you Black men, if we're going to be honest, at some point in time in your life, you've had an example of what he did. Maybe you just don't understand it. Maybe you don't remember it. Maybe you didn't see it. But the only way you can learn to do better is to honestly sometimes go through the experience, learn from it, and push forward. But on the other hand, I do understand my boy saying, listen, I just need some help. Like, I'm just trying to understand. Can you help me out? Because I will say sometimes I do feel as though we kind of write men off, and we don't remember that you guys do have feelings and emotions like us. And sometimes maybe just be crying out for help. Maybe sometimes you really just want to know, but your delivery, right?
And that's what I was.
Your delivery. Because if we're gonna keep it a buck, let's keep it real. Because they were like, he's policing her tone. Let's keep it real right now. If I tell you something, Marlon, my tone of how I tell you will dictate your response.
Yeah, that
is just facts of life. Yep. It's they always say you get more honey, get more bees with, or you get more honey with bees, right? No, whatever, you get more honey.
Sure.
You know what? Like, I'm gonna change it. You get more things out of life sometimes when your approach is nicer and sweeter. That's unfortunately like the reality sometimes of life in certain situations. That's why they tell you, especially like when you're in relationships or friendships, calm down, speak to the person one-on-one, have a good conversation back and forth. You know what I mean? So it's like, be mindful of your tone, because especially a man, he'll quickly be like, you'll be like, you'll just be like this. And then when you're done, oh, you're done now? Okay, cool. Yeah, I can listen to you now, girl. What'd you have to say? So it's just I'm gonna be honest. For me, I see both sides of it. I see the era of what he could have did better, but I don't think it's enough to write him off. But I also look at it kind of like, we have to also be mindful sometimes of our tone. Like, that's just facts. And the whole policing your tone, the reality is, if I give you a nasty tone, I could be 100% right about what I'm saying, but the tone that I give you may dictate how you receive that.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, I see both sides, bro. Like, I see both sides. I'm confident my boy's gonna, you know, press forward, and, you know,
he's supposed to be dropping something soon.
I'm patiently waiting. I got the 2 songs, but
they got the 2 songs. Yeah.
Where are the other 10, man? Where are the other 10? Where are they? That's just kind of my thought on that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's kind of all over the place, but not really. So what are your because I know you said celebrities, influencers, and education. So what is it about the 3 of those that kind of sticks out to you the most, or makes you just want to like talk about it more? Or what about them specifically makes you want to talk about it?
So I think the point we just talked about J. Cole not knowing almost plays into that last little part where education comes in. And, you know, maybe when we first introduced the topic, then it didn't make sense how the 3, you know, intertwined. But I think education is a very important part on all levels, not necessarily academic and scholastic, but in the community, knowing about yourself as a Black person, and what your role is in this world, and how you are supposed to be in this world. We just talked about J. Cole not knowing what was going on. Why is that? That's the question that you really want to ask. Why didn't he know? That's a grown ass man at the end of the day. And so he should have known that. But the real question is, why didn't he know that? It's because he either wasn't taught, or he didn't take prior opportunities to go in and learn. When we go into that, you can ask a couple other questions. Why didn't he go to learn? So if he didn't learn this information, it's either because the information is not accessible, or he did not have the inner drive to go and educate himself on those topics before making those comments. And because of that, obviously that got the controversy.
Man, what?
So a major thing that I believe is that we can use celebrity and influencer statuses to also promote education based on on a black level. My thing is that we can no longer like rely on public education school systems to educate our youth into being who they really supposed to be in this world. I think a perfect example is what's her name? Beyonce. She just dropped a beautiful visual. I didn't get a chance to see the
Yeah,
actual
I didn't
thing.
see it.
I ain't got no Disney Plus. I know Disney Plus, so I'm about to. We'll see, but she dropped a perfect visual, at least what I've gotten from Twitter or whatever, of the beauty of black skin, of blackness, and empowering those with the brown, with the skin colors. So, and as I was saying, it doesn't have to be scholastic. It can be something about yourself, about who you are in the world, and it's stuff that you don't get taught in the school systems. You don't get taught to love your blackness because you're whitewashed. The whole thing is whitewashed. You learn about how Christopher Columbus discovered America and everything was beautiful and they had Thanksgiving, and
it was really the slaughter night. That's why
night.
I don't like Thanksgiving. I don't. I legit, people tell you, what do you want to do? It's just another regular day to me. Like
that, and July 4th. It wasn't our Freedom Day. But I want to say the beautiful thing is I think that as a culture and as a society, we're starting to embrace that and realize that this year, and I'm not sure about previous years, but Juneteenth has never gotten as much traction as at least I've ever noticed before this year. And people were out, even though it's a pandemic, people were out celebrating, being active, wearing Juneteenth t-shirts and doing all of this. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think that's, beautiful to see in the future that we just going to gain traction off of that, and we'll see it, even bigger and better. But it's people being conscious of their blackness. And I think that's the most important thing. And when you're educated, that's one of the most important things is to love yourself and who you are and understand what makes you who you are. So
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. And I think that's just why these Manny's Monday memos are so real and organic, because the J. Cole fit perfectly with the topic. Because one thing that he did even say later on was like he needs to go back and educate himself. He needs to go back and learn. Now I will say a lot of celebrities use that as a cop out to appear better. But at the same time, I hope that when he said that, he genuinely means that, because, it is up to him to press forward, and it is up to him to do better. When you know better, you do better. I'm a firm believer. So, I mean, as long as he's not here like Kanye West, we Gucci.
See that now? That's on the other end of the spectrum, because what they saying the same thing about him. Oh, he need a black woman in his life. Oh, ever since his mama died, things went south, which is the truth. And he's most definitely still dealing with those pains, but you just can't throw black women in every situation like it's some, it's your wet phone and some rice and to fix the whole thing.
We're not your saviors, okay? We're not your saviors. We're not doing it.
It's not a therapist situation. It got to be a partnership. And if one end of the spectrum ain't trying to work with the other, you could throw 10 black women in his life and it ain't going to do nothing to him. It's deeper than that. And it don't need to be, let's just, like
Kanye annoys me. He tries to me, he fake acts like he's for the people. Like, oh, I'm going to get on the ballot. Now, when you get on the ballot, you splitting our damn votes because you want Trump to win again. You were kiki ha with him in the Oval Office wearing that ugly ass hat over here supporting him. Exactly. Then you want to come back and be like, Kanye, I say there are a lot of fans you don't want to argue with, right? Kanye West fans are one of them. Also Beyonce fans.
Beyonce fans, don't do it.
I've done it before just for shits and giggles. I'm gonna be real with you. I've been like, no, she can't. No, I was just trolling. It was a lot of fun. I really pissed some people off. But anyways, when it comes to Kanye, they love to be like, no, it was a it was a plan that he had all along. He was trying to get in good so that way he can get in for us.
Yeah.
All right, listen, I think it's dope that he donated funds for, the people that we lost due to police brutality, especially this year. I think that's dope. I wholeheartedly love and commend that. But the nonsense he's doing still publicly on Twitter, on cameras, with the Trumps, I'm not with that. I'm not with that in any way, shape, or form.
And guess what? It's still going to be some people that write in his name for this election is going to take away votes from whoever we need to be out here voting for.
I understand the sentiment of, I don't want to vote for the lesser of two evils again. Da 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 da. I feel you. I was pro Bernie, just so you know. I feel you. I was all for the bird. I was feeling the bird. My heart got broken because they literally tag teamed that man and got him out so that way Biden could get in there. Okay, me and one of my friends we used to get in battles all the time. Biden versus Bernie. Biden versus Bernie. And now people want to be like, well, Biden's not any better than Trump. You know, he's guilty of da 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 da. And I'm just like, I don't like. We got to be mindful.
We can talk about this later. We got one thing we need to handle right now, and that's to get
exactly. Like, I feel you, bro. I do. Trust me. I didn't want Biden. I didn't want him. But Trump, another 4 years of Trump.
That ain't.
I can't look at what he's doing with this pandemic. Look at this nonsense. Look at what he's doing to immigration. Look at what he's done to people of color. Look at everything he's doing. He's destroying the great America, right?
Yep.
And he's showing you how to make it great again, which is, first of all, it was never great. It was never great for us. But he's trying to completely revert back to the times before, any of the things that we have. Like, for example, did you know that he just passed a rule under his administration that they're doubling the cost of being a citizen, like applying for your citizenship?
Yep, saw that.
Me, someone who is not an American-born citizen, I had to get my citizenship. Mm-hmm. Okay, we already paid an arm and a damn leg, already, and now you're making it even more, like people. Oh, listen, folks, listen.
When he says "Make America Great Again," he got a specific audience that he's talking to.
White males. White males.
No, not even that. He's talking about the uneducated, very broke, poor white males as well.
But there's farmers that have been negatively affected by some of the things they've done, and they've come out and spoken about it too.
Of course.
So it's just like, stupid. Y'all stupid. So I think, I don't like Trump being president, but I will say one thing. He is smart as hell how he did this, because he told everybody and no one believed this nonsense. And that man is sitting in the Oval Office right now.
Yeah.
Right now. A celebrity.
Yep.
He didn't make his fortune. It was given to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he is running this country with no type of political experience, with no knowledge of clearly what you can and can't do based on the Constitution, because he's tried to do so many things. They're like, Trump, you can't do that, bro. Like, you can't do that. But one thing I will say his presidency has shown is it is really empowering these racist people to be more boldly.
Mm-hmm.
It is really giving them a voice. So yes, it's bad, but it's good at the same time, because now the snakes that were in the grass, they're being exposed. We're seeing them. Now we have the power to call them out. Now we're like, boop. All right, time for you to get it. Wait, we're done with this. You think you oh no. Black Twitter has been on it. I love Black Twitter. I love Black Twitter.
This you?
This you? Oh, screenshot send. You thought you were about to get that scholarship. You thought.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh, that's evil. No, it's not. We don't need any more people that are openly racist.
Yeah.
Being,
in positions of power, and you have these racist doctors, you have these racist lawyers, judges, and this is a part of the system. This is a part of the systematic racism that we're preaching on to people, that people of the other side of the spectrum don't think exists. So it just is what it just hides itself in different ways, and if you can kill it at the root, that's where you start to fix the problem. And if you kill it at the root, not only kill it at the root, but you also flood the system with people of our skin color. That's how you start to have more influence on what goes on, and that's how you really start to attack the problem. Is that you need to flood the system with these black faces, with these brown faces, with people who have consciousness and a soul to appreciate all lives and all walks of life and all that. So.
Absolutely. We have to. It's not going to happen overnight. You
Oh
know,
no.
we're still fighting. I mean, the generations before us were fighting, but at the end of the day, like every little bit matters.
Yep.
Every little bit matters.
Yep.
So that's why, that's why these influencers, like you can be an influencer, but like use your platform
Yep.
in a good way.
And not even the influencers that are already established, but I believe that we need to start creating like influencers who are specific on certain things.
Ooh.
So you could probably name off 10, 15 NBA players, right?
Mm-hmm.
But name 10, 15 different top doctors in the United States, top black doctors, or top black psychologists,
I
or
can't.
top black lawyers. And why is that? Because the media that we already have established forces what? 2K on us, forces what? Black music or black hip hop rap music on us, trap music on us. But we don't have a substantial effort to push black education. There's not a collective sort of movement where we have black professionals, and there are individuals who are doing great jobs of using their platforms, using their power to go ahead and push education, push just black scholastic excellence
Yeah.
on the youth. uh, it's a more fathomable lifestyle to go to college, get a degree, and enter the workforce. There's only so many seats on, in a play an NBA game and get your bag and keep going with your life. But you have a much better chance. You have a much better chance to have some sort of, not even, you don't even have to have a 4-year degree. You could have trade school. You could get
Yeah.
you could learn a trade and get your education through trade school. You could get an associate's and work whatever that degree can get you. But it's all about almost playing the game so that you can win the game. It's
Right.
the system is set up so that you do have to have some sort of education, some sort of secondary education to do well in this country. And unfortunately, hooping only going to take you so far from a majority of the folks out here, and rapping, shoot. I don't even want to
Man.
talk. I don't even want to talk bad about folks because I'm trying to start getting into music and all that. But rapping, you can only go so far
Right.
as a person. You got to get real lucky, real lucky to get into those industries. And the path of education is just a little bit easier. I mean, it's tougher obviously on the mental, and maybe it's a little bit less. It's not as sexy as obviously living the life of Quavo or whatever. But hey,
Right.
listen, it's not. There's only one Quavo, right?
Yeah. Facts. But no, I think what you said is absolutely right. I think that's why it's so important. Like I understand, we have these talented people in our community, especially
Mm-hmm.
with sports, like hello, we're amazing. But at the same time, let's make sure that we're also setting up the future with other, tangible things that's really going to help them succeed, because at
Yep.
the end of the day, they always look to us to be their athletes, right? They
Oh,
always do.
we're the athletes. We're
We're
the
the athletes.
culture. We're the flavor. We're the
Right. Right. But how often do they look to us, like you said, to be their lawyer? Or how often do they look to us to be their doctor? Or how often do they look at us to be the psychologist? And yes,
That's what I'm
Black people,
saying.
psychology is great for you. Okay.
Yep.
Therapy is amazing. Never be scared to go to therapy. I promise you. I've done it. I love it. It's great. I recommend it. But I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. Like facts. Nail
Yep.
on the head with that one.
Talk to the youth in your life. It don't, if you have like a younger brother or sister, talk to them about more than just sports, more than just music. Talk about, the black professionals that your friend group. Because shoot, I have some pretty successful people in my circle of friends that
Right.
are doing things that aren't necessarily, entertainment. But I also have people in my friend group who are doing more than just working 40 hours a week. But my bro Chris, DJ Saturn, he an
DJ
engineer.
Saturn.
He an engineer, and he's DJing on the side. And I think that's also beautiful. I think that it's good that you can be multifaceted. You can have more than one flex. You can have a degree and you can be lit. Like it's good to let folks know that hey, we're beautiful how we are as being there's more than just sports and music, but there's also that mental flex that we got, the brain power. So
I love that. You can be educated and be lit. That's right. Because we be lit all the time. We be having a good time. Listen. When people, when we think about what we used to do back in school, boy,
hey, man,
we be lit. Educated and lit.
Ain't going to class now.
Man, what? No matter what, we always were in class doing what we're supposed to be doing. We all got those degrees.
I mean, some of the 8 a.m.s I don't know about, but other than that.
I missed class a few times for 8 a.m. But 8 a.m. they were straight. You got three times you can miss. I'm like,
oh, we gonna see.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. Nah, but I appreciate you for joining me today, Marlon. I feel like the conversation was really good, Marlon. I feel like you brought a good energy, a good conversation. And most importantly, everybody, make sure you always tune in every Monday. If you want to join, you can join. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I love having my friends join. It's always a good time. So with that being said, have a good rest of the week. And like Marlon said, educate the youth. Talk to the youth. Come on now. Let's focus on some things that we can help them do to be great.
Yep.
Have a good Monday. Manny's Monday Memos. Manny's Monday Memos. Manny's Monday Memos. Manny's Monday Memos.